Okay, hi guys, good afternoon, happy Sunday to everybody. How are we all doing? Okay, so I just want to talk about just want to know what people's intake when it comes to life insurance. Okay. What do you think about life insurance? Do you think it's important? Do you think it's something that is very essential for us to have? Do you think, or you just think it's not worth it? So whatever your opinion is, I would suggest you just write it down at the comment section. And for those of you, please, who have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button each time I upload any video. You'll be notified about it. Okay, so I just want to have a quick discussion, a brief one, about life insurance. What is your intake? So I'm going to come from the perspective of an African background. Okay, as you all know, I'm a Nigerian, proud Nigerian, but I reside in the UK. Right. So so what's the intake about life insurance? Personally, I think it's very important to have life insurance. I think it's one of the best thing you could invest in. Okay. I'm going to also talk from the perspective of a parent as well. As parents, I think it's very important that we do this life insurance, because if you look at these things, guys, they are quite affordable. You can just go online and it's very easy to access. Okay, they've got different companies, but it's always advisable to go for the reputable one, big companies, so that when it's time for you to claim or something happens, then you wouldn't have to go through some difficulties. All right, and it's always good to have a consultant in hand, just in case anything happens. They will be able to veg in for you and sort things out for you and your family. Anyway, so when it comes to insurance, they've got different types of insurance. Okay, there's life insurance, there's home insurance, there's everything, so many kind of insurance. There's funeral insurance. So I would suggest, rather, I do advise people close to me, my friends, my loved ones, my family members, to try and key into any form of insurance, because if it is not useful today, it might end up being useful tomorrow. So what am I trying to say? Unfortunately, there's something, this is actually one of the topic most Africans do not want to talk about. So the reality is, death is gonna come, whether we like it or not. It is gonna come. It's not something we can avoid at all. Okay, but however, it is our prayer that we live long, so that we'll be able to eat the fruit of our labor. Okay, so we live long, get to our old age, have a fulfilled life before God decides to come and take us. Okay, however, that might sometimes not even be the scenario. We might just have a very healthy life right now. Things are going well, smoothly for you. Your life at the moment, you're talking right now, but the next minute is not guaranteed. That's the fact. It might be very harsh to hear, but that's just the truth. Okay, so it is very important. So that's why I would say that's where the importance of insurance comes into the picture. Okay, especially for those who's got children, especially for those who's got little children, for those who's got like an adult children who's grown up and all that. Okay, that's a bit on the better side, even though there's still some form of insurance that you can still do at a later age anyway. However, for those of us who's got little children growing up and all that, God forbid, anything can happen to anybody at a point. We pray for long life though. But when it comes to death, when it comes to accidents, when it comes from a healthy person to become very unhealthy, it takes just a second for things to change. Okay, so when those things change, when your life changed from what the healthy one that you used to know to the other one, what plan have you got in place? No pressure. All right, however, the truth must be told. Death is going to come. Yes, definitely is going to come. So when it comes to those of us who's got young family, do you have a plan in place? Is there a plan for your family? Is there a plan for your children, that God forbid anything happens to you, you will be able to be wherever if you go to heaven, that you'll be rest assured that your family is actually financially stable because of the life insurance you put in place before God decides to come and take you. Is that in place? So these are just the questions that you need to ask yourself. Okay, so sometimes, especially with us as an African, people from African background, people from Nigeria background, I'm not just, okay, I'm going to make an example with my husband. Before now, if I call him and say, you know what, I think it's very important that we have insurance put in place. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know anything, good, we're healthy, everything is going well the way we're planning it to go. However, sometimes things can just happen. Unplanned scenarios can just happen. The worst scenario that you can never even expect that is going to happen can happen. And one of the things, unfortunately, is death. Okay? And I said to him, don't you think it's actually appropriate for us to actually put this insurance thing in place? Because we still have children that are still growing up. We still have children that are still dependent on us. If anything happens, what's going to happen? He was like, excuse me? What are you trying to say? I hope you're not trying to kill me. Or I hope nothing's going to happen to me. These days that he didn't actually welcome the conversation at all. But the truth is, he just needs to put these things in place, because if anything happens, what happens to the children? What have you got in place for the children? So he didn't work on the conversation at all. He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to listen to me at all. So I left it, but I didn't give up. I had to keep telling him. I kept telling him and say, listen, you might not want to hear this conversation, but I think it's very important for you to know that these things are important. You might not need it now, but tomorrow you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen next minute. So I kept talking to him about it. I kept talking to him about it. Eventually, he saw reasons with me. He understood where I'm coming from. So he decided to put the life insurance in place. Fantastic. And also I did mine as well, because we don't know. Yes, we're a couple. We don't know who's going to go first. If I go first, fantastic. They've got good thing in place. If he goes first, fantastic. And the kids has got good things in place. So that's how it should be. So when it comes to life insurance, there are different types. And these things, like I said before, guys, they are very, very affordable. You can actually access it so cheaply. Okay, so you can go to different websites, compare the prices, see which one is convenient for you and use it. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes these things are about £20, they're about even less than £20, sometimes £30, whatever it is. But if you think about it well properly, guys, if you take that £20, £30 to the shop, if you're going to finish it within a second, you've done so already. Okay, so why don't you just, in a way, think about it as actually a way of treating yourself, putting things in place, giving you rest assurance, give you a proper assurance that, God forbid anything happens to me today, I've got nothing to worry about. Okay, all right. So there are several types of insurance. There's a long-term life insurance whereby a certain amount is actually paid to your family, to your children, yes, when anything happens to you. Okay, so that one is very accessible. Speak to any consultants, go online, you can see different things about different insurance out there. Okay, another one that people usually don't want to talk about is the funeral insurance. Yes, listen, death, again, I will repeat, it can happen at any time. And if death happens, ask anyone who is experienced burying a family member or friends. These things are very expensive. They are very expensive. So if these things are not planned for, and God forbid anything happen to you, what is left for your family? Are you going to leave the financial burden on your family or your innocent children? I don't think that's the right thing to do. So that's why, whilst everything is still okay, whilst you're still employed, please, guys, get your funeral insurance sorted. Okay? As I am, personally, as I'm talking to you, my funeral insurance is sorted already. I'm not saying that's good. It's not. That doesn't mean I'm going to die today. That doesn't mean I'm going to die tomorrow. That doesn't mean I'm going to die years to come. But it is sorted out already. I do not want to put that financial burden on my parents. I don't want to put that financial burden on my children or my family or my husband. Nope, I do not want that at all. If anything does happen to me, I will rest in pace, knowing that these things are sorted. Funeral in this country, especially in the UK, is very, very expensive. Okay, so that's why sometimes paying about £20, even less, to put those things in place, that God forbid these things happen, your family will be at ease. If they're going to mourn you, they shouldn't mourn you because of the financial burden you've left for them, but rather they should mourn you because they miss you. If you understand what I mean. It is sad. It is sad topic, but it is very, very important. Do not put, I don't think it's a wise thing to put a funeral burden upon your children or upon your family members. Or you would not get a situation whereby you have to call church members, call family members, call friends together to actually help contribute if you don't have any savings, or you didn't plan for your funeral. You would now end up resorting to the situation whereby family members, friends, loved ones have to come together, start donating for them to be able to sort out your funeral. As I'm talking to you, my funeral is actually in place to the extent that I have chosen the kind of flowers my children are allowed to put on my grave. Yes. I'm that detailed. Okay. I think it's just self-discipline. I believe in, putting things in order. People who know me, especially my husband, he usually say, listen, if you are a police officer by profession, everybody is going to end up being in jail if they do things wrong. I say, yes, obviously, if they do things wrong, they don't do things in the right way, they don't follow the rules and don't follow the regulations. If they deserve to go to jail, they should go to jail. So these things, I'm just a principled person. This is how things should be. That's what the rule says. That is how it should go. That's what I will do. I'm not saying I'm going to die. Nothing is going to happen to me by God's grace. I have faith that I'm going to live long, hear the fruit of my labor, be healthy, live a very good lifestyle. However, that doesn't mean I should not put these little things in place, those crucial things in place. I don't want to put that burden on my children. I don't want to put that burden on my husband. I don't want to put that burden on my family members and friends. I want to be able to, God forbid, die and die in peace. So these things, guys, I would suggest, if you haven't put these things in order, if you're employed, I'm saying no pressure, please. If you're not working, that's a different scenario. If you're unable to, if you're not financially stable to be able to put this in place, that's a different scenario. But if you are, I would suggest these things are very important. If you are employed, I would suggest that these things are very important for you to put in place so that, God forbid, by the time anything happens to you, you'll be able to sort it out. Just an example. There's a family friend, a very close friend. You know, it's 2 children, a wife, happy family, very young family, you know. We saw this family not long ago, all right? They were healthy, everything, the husband was healthy, the wife was healthy, the children, everything was fine. Suddenly we had a phone call to say the man, who is not even up to 43 or 44 years or so, you know, although he's in his 40s anyway, that he passed away. I was like, my God. Young wife, little children, a man who looks so healthy, all put together. How come? What happened? Guys, he was gone. This is someone we were told that went to church in the morning. He was the one that preached in church because he's an assistant pastor. He got home. The wife at that particular moment was not home. He was actually talking, the wife and the children were on holiday. He was talking to his wife on the phone, and suddenly he told his wife, listen, I'm going to sort out some few things. I'll give you a call back. That was the end of the conversation. Few hours later, the wife didn't hear from the man. She kept calling and calling and calling and calling and calling. Then she had to call someone who lives close to where they live to please go and check for him. Guess what happened? They got there, they knocked the door, they knocked and knocked and knocked. Nobody. His car was at the driveway, but nobody was opening. So they had to call the police. So the police was the only one that had the authority to break into the house. And guess what? The man was lying dead on the floor. This is a man who is so healthy. This is a young man. This is a man that you would never think life would go out of him for years to come. But what happened, guys? He died. So, he didn't plan for this. If someone had told him that he was going to die few hours, someone that went to church in the morning, did all activities, spoke to his family, spoke to his wife and everything, and suddenly, within few hours, the wife was unable to reach him. And guess what? By the time they were able to reach him, he was gone. So this scenario happened within few hours. That's just to say to you, if this guy, again, which I know sometimes African mentality, when it comes to this, putting this plan in place, they don't want to hear it. Like I said before, I make a very good example with my husband. No African, especially women are even okay. They can actually understand these things. But when it comes to African men, they do not want to hear this because they believe that if anyone putting life insurance in place is going to die soon. That is not the scenario. But we're just doing this thing just in case these things happen. You are not putting the stress or the burden upon your family, the financial burden, because they are expensive. These things are practically expensive. So that's why it is very important for families, young families, because the person you see 1 minute, there's no guarantee that you're going to see the person again the next minute. So it is actually very advisable, guys, that you should please put these things in place. Do not let your children suffer whilst you are gone. It is very sad. It is very sad. Organize these things and put these things in place. And they are cheap, guys. If you're going to finish £20 within, but even taking your kids to McDonald's, £20, it's not even enough for you to go for a day out. It is not. Sometimes these things are even less, they're even less than the £20. Choose your research, go out there, compare the prices, and go for something that is more convenient for you. That's my advice. Like I said, if you're not employed or you're not financially stable to do those things, that's understandable. But if you are, if you are, I would suggest you put those things in place. Life insurance, different types of insurance are very important, especially for young families. Okay, so if you have any other suggestion or you do not agree about what I've said or any contribution you've got, guys, leave your comment down below. And if you've got any questions or anything or things, if you're not sure on how to go about it, you just want a bit of guidance, I'm more than happy to do so. Or if you've got any question regarding that, I'm more than happy to do so. So that's it for today. So guys, think properly, put these things in place, and believe in me, by the time you do these things, you feel more fulfilled, you feel more reassured, and you feel more relaxed. That doesn't mean, just to reassure you, that doesn't mean you're going to die. That doesn't mean bad things are going to happen to you. It just means that you're organizing yourself. You have your family interest at heart. Just in case anything happens, you're not going to be a burden to them. But rather, they're going to mourn you because they're missing you. They're not going to mourn you because of the financial difficulties you're going to leave upon them. That's it from me, guys, today. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye for now. Bye.